got that solved. Darn, Aaron. Right. Item 7 is.
Mr. President, is there any more? Did you say you're going to make him the offer after the meeting?
I don't think we said, did we?
Well,
I think Mary will
he
get
needs a
that
response. Yeah, I think we are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And are you going to do that over the telephone? What I'm curious is, are you going to know within an hour or so after the meeting if he accepts the offer?
No.
We're going to give him.
up to 5 days to respond, so I don't know when he'll respond. That was in part of the motion. So.
I think what the question really is the public's going to want to know. So as soon as we know, we'll.
Oh yeah, as soon as we know,
As
let's make a
soon as
vote.
he accepts and as soon as the drug test is done. Personally, I don't think that we'll let anybody know until after the drug test.
Do we have policy on that, Mary?
That's part of.
That's policy. Okay.
Okay. We're all on the same page here? Okay. Mr. Interim General Manager and Hydrologist report.
In the written memo that I provided, I mentioned we had a 14-inch line break on Kitty Hawk. That line break was on our ductile iron pipe. And it's one nice thing about ductile iron, even though we're having a lot of issues with it corroding and deteriorating on the north side of the freeway there. When it does go, it doesn't split and cause a lot of water to throw out. Yeah. So it was a small area that was affected. But what's occurring there is that section of pipe, it's about 800 feet or so. We've had probably in the last few years, I don't know, 5 years, however many it is, I can't say exactly. We've had about 5 leaks on that line. When we dug up a section, there's multiple parts of the pipe that's actually weeping. Because what it is, it's steel and then coated with concrete. So once the steel's corroded out, then concrete's porous and water will weep out of that. And integrity is going. We know that line it's on its way out. And so that's something I'm just notifying you. And we do have that budgeted for to do some line maintenance on that ductile iron this year. So at some point, we're looking at getting bid specifications together so we can bring that for you guys to look at. And the road up there has been recently replaced, so what we can cut and how much is going to be replaced in that nature is going to be a major factor in what we can do there. So we're working on that. Treatment plant 27, I think I talked about this in the past. We've have on order some new boosters for that, and it should be here within a week and a half to get one of the boosters replaced. And we actually have another one coming because the second ones are also deteriorating and on its way out. So right now we can only run one well currently on that system. It's because for the treatment plant to work with 2 wells, it has to have both boosters capable of operating. We're not there right now. So we're looking forward to that, and that should be again within the next week or so. One thing this came in today was with our insurance policy at the district. We were able to, during our budget process, we talked about having our insurance renewal period come in at July 1st, so it's not already having to be made before even the budget process. That occurred. We reduced, I think the cost came in $2,000 a month, approximately.
Just about
almost
$2,000 a month.
$24,000 less a year, and it's actually the coverage is improved. So
That's good move.
good job, the staff that worked on that. So that's some of the main things I think I have to bring up. Is there any questions for me on
With this heat, how are we doing
Oh, yeah, good
water-wise?
We're actually, the wells are coming along well and producing the water that we need and in all the right places, so we're actually doing okay. That's one thing with that plant 27. Right now we can't run, since we just rebuilt or rehab well 26, it's producing almost double the water that it did before. And the plant actually can't handle, it can handle all that well by itself, but once we we have a backwash process with the treatment, and the backwash water then is smoothed back into the treatment process, so we don't have to waste as much water. And the plant actually can't handle all the additional water from well 26 and the backwash water. So it'll be nice once we have the other boosters, and then we'll go put 26 on one instead of 27. And there's about 400 gallons a minute difference from those two wells, or we can run both of them. And again, though, right now we're fine on water. Again, we have those rehab wells are like well 33. It's producing more, and then we have 2 online now, and that's working great.
Is that job completed then?
It is. We're still waiting for, the county has to come out and just do their walkthrough. But for us, we've done our walkthrough. We've signed off on substantial completion. For us, it's done. It's just the county. There's a few spots I think they have to repaint some crosswalk, which from my understanding,
I think they did that.
Valley Underground, correct. And so now it's really just getting the inspector from Vegas to come out and say, yep, it's completed. And it's, I mean, for us, we've actually paid partial payment on that. Just waiting for the county to pass off, and then we'll complete that.
There'll be a big surge in water usage tomorrow.
Yeah, it's good to have that on. Well 29 is working great up there. We're actually going to push some water over from how we were hoping, from well 29 and well 2 over, and actually alleviating some stress on well 39. So things are working well.
How's the Vanguard pipe breaks?
You know, this past week and a half, we've had 9 breaks, which it is. I think there's one-on-ones at Vanguard. So there's still in some areas.
I think that's partly
Some of the HOAs, they just slurry and whatnot, and they didn't want it cut into. And so some of those areas now that haven't been replaced are having a few leaks here and there. And maybe we can readdress with those HOAs to see if now, since the road has been had to cut to fix those, maybe they want to go forward. Maybe there's only 15 services left, and we can punch those out, or whatever. That's also in our budget to do that. So there is that option. And so as opportunities come, or when I say opportunities, it's
Unfortunate.
exactly. We'll address that, and then again, it's on, instead of having to react, we'll be proactive, and which will save cost to the district, and again, to our customers too, it'll be less time with them without water. So that's
the cost differences by doing it proactively in those areas where we know we've got problems. We're talking less than half as much to do it that way than if we have to deal with the wet repair. So
yeah, because a lot of time with the wet
It's
repairs,
usually
you have to cut it
overtime
up.
too.
Yeah,
it's
overtime.
on 4th of July,
Yeah.
4th night, you know.
The
So.
day of.
Yeah, but yeah, when it is wet, we have to cut the larger hole usually because it's ground saturated and sloppy, and things slough off. But if it's dry, we can cut a very precise hole. With the capabilities, they have to know right where that service is. And staff's great on being able to do that. So.
Do you have a question, Frank?
I just want to make sure that you made that they use secondary water when they're Bunkerville.
Always.
Like tomorrow.
Always.
Okay. Can I ask a question? One of the breaks was in Canyon Crest on Ivy League Crest, on an area that had no connections to it. I mean, there's no houses there. We found it when we were doing a drive-through. And is that normal? I mean, because there's no houses connected to it. There's nothing there. It's just you know, it's stubbed up into the lot, but it's an abandoned lot, you know, right now.
Right. The water, again, those lines still have water in them, and they're not passing a lot, but at the same time, it can't. And it's not. We don't have very many of those that I know of, where the lot has been out and they fell. But again, if it's the Vanguard, it has the potential to be able to do that.
It was just kind of unusual because it was just out nowhere and we got water coming through the road. So and you guys did a great job. I mean, within 2 hours it was fixed. So.